Okay, I accept. But only if you promise to love, honor, and laugh hysterically. What's with this group tonight?
Great.
Something's going on. You can tell it's a little weird when you walk out and you see an elderly lady sitting up in the third row with a tattoo on her thigh that says, "Born to raise marijuana." You make up for last night. Last night we had a hostile crowd. For some reason. You know you're in trouble. You walk out and the whole front row are wearing G. Gordon Liddy jeans. You got a tie and a shirt and everything like a real person.
And a non-skid shoulder pad.
What is that for?
That's for you to lay your head on when you're sad.
Did the other one fall off or what?
Somebody chewed it off.
I see.
I only knew her as Ramona.
Over here. So far, it's me 1, Doc 3. A lot of out-of-towners here tonight, I suppose. I should go. Word of caution here. Word of caution like any major city. You go up to Hollywood, especially Sunset Boulevard, you will see there's some weirdos out there, right? I happen to be up there today. Oh, yes. And guy walked up to me and says, I've only got 2 weeks to live. And I said, "You're dying?" He says, "No, my wife's taking a vacation without me." I didn't say they were funny weirdos. I said they're weirdos. And I saw a girl on Hollywood Boulevard the other night wearing a wet T-shirt on the back. It said, "Don't follow too closely, frequent stops." She had to think with it.
You gotta stay out of that neighborhood.
Ramona. Well, we seem to have a few lulls in there for some reason. What did I do today? Didn't do much today, really. Drove to work. Pulled into my favorite gas station across the street. I got a great mechanic over there, Mr. Goodshaft. He's not too bright. I said, "Check the oil." He said, "I just did. We've got lots of it." He's a wise guy. I said, "Give me $10 worth of regular." He said, "Hold out your hand." He's not a good mechanic. I said, I think I need a shock. And he says, "Come over to my house later. I'll show you my wife without makeup." There was just a news item that just came over the teletype. Bonzo the Chimp just resigned from a major corporation after using the president's name to obtain military contracts. You know that or not? Have you been here? You know that there is a jelly bean feud? Have you read that in the paper? Dentist versus the president, Ronald Reagan. Society of Dentistry, I think is the official title, passed a resolution asking the president to cut back on his jelly bean consumption. Because according to the dentist, they say they contain a lot of sugar, cause cavities, and are bad for the teeth. You believe that? Reagan says he doesn't care. Jimmy Carter had great teeth, and it didn't help the country. The nation's elderly people got another shock from the Reagan administration today. They said that Medicare benefits are being slashed for senior citizens. How many of you get Medicare benefits? Yeah. And angry, obviously. Yeah. And they suffered an even bigger, severe setback today. Reagan levied Lawrence Welk's audience with a polka surcharge. That's what they did. Did you read about they're having the trials, I guess. Miss California was last week, and those girls go on what, the Miss Universe contest? They disqualified Miss New York State yesterday because she was padding her bra. Oh. Yes, that's un-American. She was out. She was violated for, I think, no, she wasn't violated. She She was kicked out for violating the truth in packaging law. That's where they got her. Yeah. Here is some thrilling show business news. Sounds like a publicity thing, but it was in the paper. Are you familiar with a show called The Dukes of Hazzard? Well, Warner Brothers, which produces that show, just took out an insurance policy with Lloyd's of London, I think, for $20 million to insure... Who's the young lady with it? Catherine Bach? Who's on the show? Her legs. They insured him for $20 million. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, but it also covers fire and theft. Okay, we've got a... I'm really looking forward to the show tonight. I really am. We've got two of the best comedians in the entire business, Richard Pryor and George Carlin. We'll be right back. Thank you. Hello.
This crowd is fired up.
Yes, they are. They're charged tonight. Now, last night we were discussing...
Yes.
Because the audiences have been rather strange and bizarre lately. And I asked if there was a full moon. And you said, yes, the moon had been rather full. And we got into the discussion of why people act erratically or bizarre during a full moon.
Loony.
It comes from, yes, lunatic comes from lunar, of course. Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I said they have made tests that if people didn't see the moon, or it was cloudy, people didn't have as erratic behavior as if they knew there was a full moon. And then you brought up the fact that...
About a tree falling in the forest.
About a tree falling in the forest.
Whether you hear that, if there's a sound if you're not there.
Right.
Right.
And I said, no, there would be no sound.
And I said, yes, there would be.
Well, there really couldn't be, because... Anyway, you said the gravity probably...
Gravitational pull of the moon.
Yeah. But I said that wasn't correct, right?
Yes.
Anyway, we had a letter, a telegram. It's a mailgram is what it is, from a Frederick Sparber of Balin, New Mexico. And he said, regarding your comments on the psychological effects of the moon, I would like to advance the following theory. This is apparently by data gathered by governmental groups employing radio telescopes. He said, in brief, the full moon reflects all light. You know, when you have a full moon, it's reflecting all the light from the sun. And radio waves received from the sun, particularly microwaves in the region of 30 to 45,000 megacycles, measuring 5% of the intensity of the same radiation measured from the sun on a clear day at high noon. Additionally, these particular radio waves are absorbed by tissue, causing psychological effects equivalent to running a fever about 2 degrees above normal. The gravitational concept is easy to dismiss, as the moon is always out there, whether it's reflecting all the sunlight or it's just quarter moon. In other words, what he is saying, in effect, that we're getting more radiation from the moon on a full moon from the sun, and those particular waves apparently have some effect on the body tissues.
Could I see that?
Would I make this up?
Well, anybody could send a wire. How do we know this guy's legit?
Well, I don't know what he does. Is Frederick Sparber.
Anybody ever hear of Belin, New Mexico? B-E-L-E-N? Did anybody know of Frederick Sparber? Guy's obviously a fake.
Come to think of it, it is Rural Route 1, Box 19. Mr. Sparber sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You dismiss this out of hand.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to get more...
We'll find out. More information will come. There's something about the gravitational pull of the moon.
The gravitational pull of the moon is always there, whether the moon is full or not. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's a half moon, the gravitational pull is the same. That has nothing to do with the size of the moon. You just don't see it all.
Well, I'll have my researchers get busy.
Your researchers? All right, now, speaking of this, here's another little quiz for you.
All right.
Remember when we had Tony Randall and we were discussing various names of various things, common things we see every day, but we don't know the names for them. And I was talking about shoelaces and that little tip.
Right.
The plastic tip on the end of a shoelace. Very few people knew what that was called. How many of you know what that's called? You know, the little... You're right. Lady up there said it's an aglet.
Aglet.
A-G-L-E-T. That's the little plastic on the end of the shoelace. That information came from Frederick Sparber. No, we know that. We found some other words. Did you know the tool a gardener uses to make the hole to put the seed in, what that's called?
Not a trowel.
No, it's called a dibble.
A dibble.
Mm-hmm. Now, the little half moon you see, the little white part at the base of your fingernail.
Right.
There's a name for that. Now, half moon is not bad. It's comes from Luna. It's the lunula.
Lunula.
That little half moon.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
These are great things to know.
All right. The skull cap worn by Catholic priests is called a what?
Well, it's not a yarmulke.
I know that. But you know what it's called?
No, I don't. I should know.
Zucchetto.
Zucchetto.
Zucchetto. You ever know when you close your eyes and you see little lights darting around?
Mm-hmm.
There's a name for those things. Anybody know what they are? What? Somebody said little lights darting around. No. They're called phosphenes.
Phosphenes.
Phosphenes. Do you know a visor on a knight's helmet? There's a name for that.
What?
No, not the visor. The beaver. I didn't know. Called the beaver. How about the green leafy part on top of a carrot? There's actually a name for that part.
What? Carrot top.
No, it's called the umbel.
Umbel?
U-M-B-E-L. Do you know the hair on a horse's eyelids? There's a name for that? Called brills.
Brills.
That's right. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Now, we found some other words.
Oh, wait a minute. Our own words?
A bouncer at a gay bar? Called a flamethrower. In Hollywood, a 26-mile race for female runners. There's a name for that. It's called a jiggle, jiggle, boom, jiggle-a-thon. A man who officiates at a cockfight is called a peccaree.
A peccaree?
That's true. A hand-pulled cart used to transport Hong Kong prostitutes is called a trickshaw. The steam on the windows of a teenager's car at the drive-in. There's an actual terminology for that.
What is it?
Called score fog. An IRS agent is a shaftician. The horizontal part of the Capitol steps, called a genret.
A genret.
I just report this. The shadow cast by a fat man's beer belly is called slob shade. A pitch thrown by Fernando Valenzuela that hits a batter is called a refried beanball. And the slip-on shoes you wear when you're having a noontime affair are called wham-bam McCanns. Just little-known things that you didn't know. Peccaree. George Carlin is here tonight and Richard Pryor, and we shall be heard. Okay, we have two extraordinary comedians on the show tonight. George Carlin was the first one on the gate, so we'll start with him. George is going to be appearing June 5th at the Painters Mill Theater in Owings Mill, Maryland. The 6th of June, he'll be at the Oakdale Theater in Wallingford, Connecticut, and the 7th of June at the Auditorium Theater in Rochester, New York. Would you welcome, please, George Carlin.
How you doing? Okay, I guess, huh? Yeah, feel nice. That's good. I don't have any opening announcements tonight, so I'll go right into my routine. I had kind of an interesting morning. This morning I ate at the usual place, the restaurant for the unclean. I had been eating over at the International House of Salt and Pepper, but don't like the selection. I noticed something this morning that had escaped me. There are people who like Raisin Bran without the raisins. And if you are one of these people, you know that in order to have it that way, you have to clean the Raisin Bran. That's right. You have to take either a desk drawer or the top of a shoebox is what good. The top of a shoebox, you have to put the Raisin Bran on the top and sort of jiggle it and roll those raisins out of there. Roll those raisins right out of there. Yeah. Of course, that's street Raisin Bran I'm talking about now. I'm not talking about the cents, which is so hard to get and you don't have to clean anyway. So it's been, like I say, an interesting morning. Let me mention one other thing about breakfast foods, as long as I'm on the subject. Don't often get on that subject with the public. What wine goes with Freakies? I have trouble selecting a wine in the morning. Usually what I'll do if I can't decide at all, I'll just smoke a bong full of Fruit Loops and let it go at that. Just get back in bed and watch the morning movie. Why am I talking like that? One morning movie. Well, I guess I'm just in training, you know? I had an interesting morning. I say I'm going to be coming back to this theme quite a bit. I call it interesting for a good reason. You see, I don't have a nice day anymore. Frankly, I don't bother with them. I feel as if I'm sort of beyond the nice day now. I feel as though I've had my share. Why not let someone else have a few? Why should I be hogging all the really nice ones? Of course, people still want me to have one. Everybody wants me to have one. Have a nice day. Say, yeah. Will you give me my change, please, lady? Some of them were very insistent. I said, have a nice day. All right, okay, all right. That's the trouble with have a nice day. It puts all the pressure on you. Now you've got to go out and somehow manage to have a good time. All because of some loose-lipped cashier. Have a nice day. Maybe I don't feel like having a nice day. Maybe, just maybe, I've had 52 nice days in a row. And by God, I'm ready for a rotten day. Wish me a rotten day now and then. No one ever does that, and they're easy to have, too. Sometimes all you have to do is get up, you know. Have a rotten day, George. Thank you. And to your lovely wife as well, sir. I think it's the word nice that bothers me. Nice. It's a flabby word. Doesn't give you a lot of information, does it? Nice. Isn't he nice? Oh, he is so nice. He is really nice. And, you know, she's nice, too. Yes, and he is so nice to her. Isn't that nice? I just don't care for the word. It's like fine, you know. How are you? Fine. Nobody is fine. Spaghetti is fine. How's your spaghetti? Fine. That makes a lot more sense to me. Some guys are great. You ever meet guys who are great? How are you? Great. Isn't this great? God, that's great. Look, they're going to kill that guy. Isn't that great? That's good. You know? That's right. I've checked myself out. I'm not nice. I'm not fine. I'm not great. People ask me how I am. I say I'm fairly decent. Don't give them any superlatives, you know. Nothing to gossip about. I say I'm relatively okay. If I'm in a particularly jaunty mood, I'll tell them, I'm not unwell, thank you. That really gets them mad because they have to figure that one out for themselves. Occasionally, I'll look them right in the eye and say, I'm moderately neato. Then, of course, they have to ask their children how I am. So I think you'll admit that was kind of interesting, huh? And it was and a hell of a nice morning for me. Excuse me a second here. I have a little personal business. Pardon me, I do have a little desk out here tonight, sort of. This is my office, after all, when I'm here. There's my desk, which actually is just a little place for my stuff. When you think about it, that's all. I just wanted to put some things there. You have to have a little place for your stuff, you know? Don't you? That's why they have glove compartments and pockets and drawers on a desk. You gotta have a place for your stuff. That's all you need in life, a place for your stuff. That's all your house is when you think about it. It's just a place for your stuff. I'll tell you this, if you didn't have so much stuff, you wouldn't need a house. A house is just a place to keep your stuff while you go out and get more stuff. In fact, sometimes you gotta move. No room for your stuff. You gotta get a bigger place, because that's all a house is a big pile of stuff. Everybody's got a little pile of stuff. Everybody got a pile of stuff, and you lock your stuff up when you leave. Gotta lock your stuff, huh? Somebody might come along and take some of your stuff. And they always take the good stuff. You notice that? They never bother with all that trash you're saving. Do you ever notice when you go to somebody else's house that you don't quite feel at ease? You know why? No room for your stuff. Somebody else's stuff is all over the place. No wonder you feel dumb there. You go to somebody's house and you're not expecting to stay overnight. You know that situation? Just going over for dinner. Have a little cocoa and gin or something, whatever your style. Just a little something for the evening, but you're not supposed to stay over, but then the bridge is washed out and you do. They give you a little bedroom that they haven't used in years. You know, in fact, someone died in it 11 years ago. And they haven't moved any of his stuff. Or any kind of little bedroom they give you, there's always a little dresser right next to the bed, and there's never any room for your stuff. Why? Somebody else's crap is all over the top of the dresser. Have you noticed that their stuff is crap and your crap is stuff? You say, get that crap out of my way and let me put my stuff down. Now, sometimes when you go on vacation, you got to bring some of your stuff with you. Can't bring all of your stuff. You bring just the stuff you know you're going to need for 2 weeks, about 2 weeks worth of stuff. And you go over to the big hotel in Honolulu. You're going to be there for 2 weeks, and you open up your stuff and you start putting your stuff out because you got to have some stuff. You don't feel so good because you're half a world from home, but here's your stuff, so everything must be okay. Just putting your stuff there. And you start to feel all right after a day and a half. That's when your friend from Maui calls up. Says, why don't you come over and spend the weekend over here? So, wow. Now what do I pack? Right, you got to pack an even smaller version of your stuff, the third version of your house. Just enough stuff for a weekend on Maui. You get over there and you put up your stuff, a little Visine, you put it on the windowsill, whatever you have, you put your stuff up and you start to feel okay. It takes about an hour and a half. You know you're extended now. Supply lines are getting longer and harder to maintain. You've got stuff here, stuff there, and stuff way back there. But you finally get your stuff put up and it's okay after about an hour. That's when your friend says, hey, I think tonight we'll go over the other side of the island and spend the night at my friend's house. Wow. Now what do you bring? Just whatever's in your hand. I figured that out myself. I'll close here by just one observation that I made driving over here. Have you noticed that most of the women who are against abortion are women that you wouldn't want to get pregnant in the first place, man?
Beautiful stuff.
Hey, that was good stuff. Good stuff. We'll be back with some more stuff in just a minute. Lots of stuff. go back to George Carlin. Richard Pryor will be with us in a little while. I love to listen to your material because it all comes out of truth. And when you were talking about phrases like "have a nice day," I was thinking as you said that, we use so many of those phrases. Like, you meet somebody. Did you ever walk into a building? You work in a building like people say work at NBC, and you see the person the first time. You say good morning or hello or how are you? Now, you inevitably run into them again in the hall.
Right, yeah.
And do you say hello again, or do you not say hello?
So are you still okay?
Yeah. Because they started with things. There should be certain phrases that they could retire, like "how's it going?"
Oh, yeah. Some of them are really old. The one I hate when they meet people say, how are they treating you?
Yeah.
As if there's this group of people in your house, you know.
Mistreating you in some way.
Or are they keeping you busy? That bothers me.
Keeping you busy lately?
As if they have a right to keep me busy. No, they're not. I keep them as busy as possible. Watching you.
Maybe they should have retired certain phrases.
Yeah.
Just say hello, good morning.
Yeah.
And that's it.
There's just too many ways to say hello and goodbye. You know what's interesting? To decide to change the way you say goodbye. You know, you get into a rut. You get into years at a time where you always say, okay, take it easy. Yeah, hey, take it easy. Then you learn another one and you start just switching and say, hey, straight ahead. Okay, straight ahead now.
Right.
See you later. You know, you have to decide on which one.
Right.
I think you should send out cards to people when you decide to change your goodbye, you know?
So, you know, just like you change your address.
Saying, hey.
Who cares?
As good as anything else.
Right. So what have you been working on lately?
Well, you know, I always have a few show business things. I'm always branching out. I'm doing a show that's been getting a lot of publicity here now. I'm getting my act together and taking it into the bathroom.
That's the road show version.
Yeah, the road show.
Right.
Then we're going to do, then we're doing a hat full of Braunschweiger.
Out full of Braunschweiger.
It's about a guy who's hooked on liver paste, I think. But, you know, I've been keeping mostly busy with causes and little, you know, things that interest me. Parakeet menopause is an issue that I think
it's highly overlooked.
Yeah,
highly overlooked.
I think its time has come, and of course the problem of gay grandparents, especially out here. I get a lot of calls from a lot of different groups. Autopsies for the living. This is a new thing, by the way.
These things are never really addressed and looked at.
And California is the place where something like that could begin, I feel. And the illegal cow fights, I don't know if you're aware of this. Or the
illegal cow fights?
Yeah.
Taking place again,
in the valley here. They have the illegal cow fights on Thursdays, I think it is. We're trying to get together with Doris Day and a few of the people that are interested in animals, you know, to get out there and police this thing up. Then, you know, if you watch the talk shows, Johnny, especially the afternoon issue kind of talk shows where they have someone on who's written a book about this or that and is working on things, you run into a lot of these problems, I guess. You could call them roughly the battering syndrome has come in for a lot of attention in the last year. Of course, battered children, battered wives, and battered husbands, which surprised some people, but is a problem. And we're working now on something unusual: battered casual acquaintances.
Got a hotline set up, I suppose, and things for that?
One of those hotlines, unfortunately, we have this hotline where nobody answers. That's for people who don't really follow advice anyway. So.
That's right.
But in this battering syndrome, we have something that I found quite unbelievable: battered plants. Have you heard of this at all?
No.
People come home and take it out on the ivy, you know?
Really?
And I don't think it's right. Of course, I think it's not just the slapping, you know, slapping the ivy around. It's the psychological harm that we do them. For instance, do we know for sure that hanging plants aren't scared out of their minds? I mean, no wonder ivy clings. You know, and, you know, the calls just keep coming in. The Beverly Hills Chamber of Poor Taste gave me a call this week. They're having a hunger banquet. Hors d'oeuvres for Bangladesh, I think they're calling that.
Good cause.
And the dangers of drinking on the toilet. You know, a lot of these things have been mentioned. I'm getting interested in cosmetic dentistry for the wicked. Sounds like something Pat McCormick might be interested in.
Yes.
And St. Anthony's Home for the recently all right. Just too many of them. You know. The Free Hats for Fat People campaign, which doesn't start till October, but we're talking it up already. You know.
You got to get a start on these things.
So I just, you know, I thank you for letting me mention this. You know,
everybody else has plugged.
This many of them. I never get to mention this many in one show.
You're working a lot. You're working these 3 dates right after
I always go out on the weekend, pick up a little cash. This is my Great Lakes tour.
Right.
3 days. It's 5 lakes. I should have extended the tour somewhere. Yeah. By the way, could I mention Big Brother-in-Law, another organization?
Yes. Like, I know the Big Brothers. This Big Brother-in-Law.
This is for men that are married and that don't have a brother-in-law but really want one. So, yeah.
I will donate to that. Yeah. You got to get your priorities in order in this life.
That's right.
And obviously you have.
That's right.
We'll take a break. Richard Pryor's going to be with us.
Come on, Richie.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc. We're back. What can you say about Richie Pryor? He's a...
Thanks so much.
I would guess that you are the biggest fan of Richie's, as
You'd
I
have
am.
to say he's my top comic.
Frankly, everybody who does comedy think Richie is a genius. His Stir Crazy, I guess, is one of the biggest grossing movies in the past couple of years, next to Star Wars or something like that. And he's got another movie coming out called Bustin' Loose, which opens the day after tomorrow all over the country. I think he was out here shooting in Burbank somewhere today, wasn't he? Would you welcome Richard Pryor?
Thank you very much. I sure appreciate that.
I'm afraid to say, how's it going? George and I were just talking about...
I'm great.
Yeah, you're looking... really great.
Yeah.
Really great. You're looking good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not seeing you since last time you were here. You were heading for Hawaii.
Yeah, I saw you on the Oscar show.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Were you in Hawaii when that played?
Yeah, no, it showed the same night. Usually everything's a week later.
That's right. Why did they... I guess we got to get it transported over here, or...
I imagine so, Johnny.
I guess I would... Couldn't be another reason, could there? Are you all finished with the... you were still undergoing some therapy for the burns and stuff. Are you pretty much through with that
Pretty
now?
much through. I just got to go through... Every morning I have to get up and set myself on fire. And see how fast I can put it out.
Little test.
Yes, little test I do every day. So far, so good.
Are you... This may sound like a dumb question, but...
It probably is.
But why not? I mean, can't be brilliant questions all the time, but do you ever... When you're sleeping, does this come back sometimes to really...
No,
Really?
I never have dreams about it. No.
But some people would affect traumatically, and
No, I had one dream about fire, and it was I was driving in a Jeep and with a soldier who was sitting in the back, and I didn't know who he was. And he said, "Just drive, I'll get you through it." And we drove through this forest fire.
Yeah.
And stopped by a lake, and that's the only thing I had about it.
That's the only time that you even thought about it.
Sorry I brought it up.
Maybe that was my dumb question. I'm sorry about that.
That was my dumb answer.
You guys know...
I was in the Jeep.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys have never worked... You've never been on the show together, I know that.
No, we worked together in the village.
We started out in...
George used to wear suits.
That's right.
Well, George has gone through various career changes and...
Clothing changes.
Yes.
That's
I
right.
was
Change your
colored in
clothes,
those
George.
days.
You were what?
Colored in those
You were
days.
colored in those days, huh? You've now become black.
Yes,
and,
I was a colored comedian.
I was almost colored at that time myself. We worked
You
in
remember Uncle
Bleecker
Dirty?
Street. Uncle Dirty, sure.
Yeah, Uncle Dirty used to be with
down the village.
hanging out, writing down our stuff.
Yeah, we started 1965 down there.
Yeah.
Down at Cafe Go-Go.
And we used to idolize Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
We used to go see him. He was hot. That was something to go see Bill.
Yeah. Did you ever even unconsciously pick up on somebody's line and use it?
Oh, on purpose.
Oh, I mean, actually... That's more honest than I thought I was going to get. In other words, just out and out steal it, huh?
Dick Gregory used to have stuff in the Jet magazine, you know? And that's how I started reading his material, and I'd do it on stage. And that was my first breakthrough, as that I got a lot of laughs with his material.
Yeah.
And then I moved on to Bill Cosby, and I just got a hit with Bill's. And I know I was good. Don't despise. And people say, "You sound like Bill." I said, "The hell you mean? This is my voice, Jack." So no, I did that I made a lot of money as Bill Cosby.
Yeah. What's the worst place you ever played?
The worst place I
Yeah.
ever played? I was L.A. County Jail.
Yeah. Held over, huh?
Yes, I was held over for 10 days.
Was that when you were parking the cars one night when you were...
Parking the cars?
Well,
no,
you were trying... don't bring that up, right? You were directing traffic or something.
No, I wasn't shooting cars that night. This was for taxes. I went to income tax not paying your money.
Well, now, that's not fraud. That's just, that's an oversight, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I told him.
He said, I'll show you oversight.
He was talking about, I ought to give you 6. I said, Your Honor, it was an oversight. And he gave me 10 days. Yeah. It was 10 days. It was 10 hard days because they had me in confinement, They wouldn't let me out with the other prisoners because they were afraid they was going to grab me and kidnap me or have sex with me or something. So they kept me in this little room, and they let me out. The day they let me out, they let me to the door, and the guy said, no, he can't leave. He has 10 more minutes. Now, that was cold.
Yeah, that's cruel.
I said, you black people are tough.
We're going to take a short break. We're coming back here.
Please,
Oh, yes. We're back with Richard Pryor and George Carlin. We have a little film clip we're going to show in a minute or so of Bustin' Loose. You play a thief in this, right?
Yes.
Did you ever steal anything?
I did.
I did as a kid. I mean, that's why I brought it up.
Oh, yeah, I steal.
Oh, you can steal.
When I'm not working, I go around the cat pick me up 3,000 or 4,000 a week. I stole once, and my father caught me, and my father did not like stealing or lying. He hated either. He could not stand it, and he just had a way about he could look at me, and I knew with them, I'd start trembling, and wet my pants. And he could talk. My pop was tough. Richard, come here. I said, come, no, right here. No, don't try to stand right here. You and them boys were down there with them hubcaps, weren't you? What? So I knew not to lie, because he'd snatch a knot in your butt. That's what
I stole a ring once from a dime store, and then wouldn't admit it to the guy, and he started to march me down about 2 blocks to my father's office. And I fessed up real quick, because that's...
Did your father have an office?
Well, it wasn't a big, lavish office, but yeah, he worked.
Damn.
Yeah?
That's cool.
A real office, yeah. Yeah, and a desk there and a telephone and...
Man, that's him.
Isn't it?
My dad just was out there on the porch.
Yeah.
I stole some coffee once. We was going to go hiking. I stole some coffee and got caught in the store stealing coffee that I didn't need. And God might be bad for that.
Yeah.
So I don't mind you stealing, but you don't even need coffee.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. We better run this film clip. Bustin' Loose, right?
Stealing TV.
This is about stealing.
This is from the film Bustin' Loose, and it opens in August. No, it opens Friday.
Opens Friday,
just
day
kidding,
after tomorrow. Okay, watch the monitor here.
15 minutes, big chill. Come on, get him on. Know your job. Know your job. You got to know your job. Pop in.
What the hell are you doing, man? Let's get the hell out of here.
You take it easy, man. Be cool, will you? This is a score of a lifetime. We're gonna get 5,000, 10,000 a piece, baby.
You mean 5 to 10 in the pen? Let's go, man.
Take it easy. You know how to move and haul, right? You just get ready to move and haul right out of here. You know what, man? No hard feelings, right? Right. All right, move it. Load that big screen TV.
Now this people wants the floor demo out there.
So what's the problem? Give whatever the East Philly store needs. Just mark it down.
Will you at least check the registration to that truck out there?
Registration? Wait a minute. Do I have to take this kind of abuse, man? Because I'm black? Is that why you pulling this? Because I bet you don't do it to the white people that coming in. Hey! I bet you don't do it to the white people that come in, do you? No, we don't see television anymore, right?
Okay, just calm down.
We're having a sale down the East Philly store, man, and before the riot sale, black people are getting a chance to buy a television for the first time since the 60s, and
Man, this guy want to mess it up. If you want to help me, you help me. You don't have to. Get out of my way, man. I'm man.
See what you did, man. Give me a hand with this. Let's go.
Are you going to...
Come on, you've embarrassed me enough. Let's go.
What you gonna, what are you gonna, huh? What it is? What it look like? No, baby. What you gonna do?
I'm gonna knock you out.
Well, shoot your best shot, baby.
Never ask a guy to take his best shot.